My name is Dan Young, and welcome to the Millionaire Code podcast. I'm a self-made guy that has made multi-million-dollar businesses from scratch. There's no way I could have done it without the help of mentors who provided me with the wisdom and guidance to help me create the formula for success. Each week on my podcast, I'm going to interview a hugely successful business person that will provide you their secrets to success, and that way can act as your mentor too. I can't wait to share their stories and takeaways with you. Welcome to Dan's Millionaire Code. Hi guys, Dan Young here. Welcome to Dan's Millionaire Code, where every week I will bring to you a millionaire, a billionaire, an influencer, or someone who just makes the world a better place by giving back. And this guest today is one of my favorite people, Ned Siegfried. An incredible man. I mean, for decades I've been watching his advertising, and it really inspired me to how I should do my advertising. And so people ask, is Ned a marketing genius? Is that what he does? He's actually an attorney. And years back, let's say in 1990, he started Siegfried and Jensen with his partner Mitch,
Right.
Mitch Jensen.
Uh-huh.
And you started out with a very small amount of clients.
Yeah, we did. In fact, I got out of law school 7 years prior in 1983 and just had a solo practice for 7 years. Mitch and I office shared with 4 or 5 other attorneys, so there were about 6 or 7 of us in a little practice group, and we each had our own practices. And once the lease expired there, then Mitch and I went off separately and kind of cranked up the advertising that people in Utah at least have been seeing and hearing for almost the last 30 years.
Wow, I mean, your ads are literally everywhere, and you see it from digital to TV, radio, yellow pages still a little?
Still a little bit. We were really heavy in yellow pages, but of course with the advent of the internet, then, you know, the usage of yellow pages has gone way down, so we've moved the dollars, most of the dollars that we used to put in yellow pages over to digital.
Yeah, you know, when I stream anything anywhere now, I'm always like, Siegfried and Jensen, Siegfried and Jensen. And it follows you everywhere.
Yeah.
And I told my marketing guys, when you started doing that way back, I was like, you know, see what those guys are doing? Be like those guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. And I love how you've taken, it's almost like a recipe. It's not like you're all digital. You've almost taken all the forms together and make a good conglomeration of advertising.
We have a little or a lot of about everything, it seems like. I think about the only thing we don't do, and I kind of say this jokingly, is bus benches. We actually do buses now.
I saw you on a bus.
I always thought, I'm not going to, I've always resisted doing buses, but then it's like we do billboards, and so just figured, well, a side of a bus is just a mobile billboard, so lo and behold, 5 years or so ago, we acquiesced and started doing buses, you know.
Wow. It's amazing. I think we met years ago at some sort of business venture thing.
Uh-huh.
And then recently we bumped into each other at, it was more like a charity event, like Jackie Chan charity event for the Leonardo
Correct. Yeah.
Museum. I always seem to see at different sort of charity events and things. Is there something in your heart that really, in any particular thing where you love to give back and help? And in fact, it's in your bio too. You do volunteer a couple days a week at the prison, right? You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Well, I started working on a kind of a ministry, I guess we could call it, out at the Utah State Prison about 17 years ago. I teach, except for today, we got snowed out. It was so bad, with the weather, of course. But normally on Wednesday mornings for a couple hours from 9 to 11, I go out and meet with a group of women at the Utah State Prison. Then on Fridays, from 9 to 11, work with a group of men. And this is, people can come to the class if they want to. They don't have to. Certainly, it's a religious class, and it's kind of a Bible study type of thing. But anyway, it's a class to kind of help raise their spirituality and their hope and their optimism that that they're not total losers because they got sent to prison. And so in the 17 years I've been out there, I've seen a lot of people's lives really change, and a lot of them have come out and become productive members of society, and so it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. That's why 17 years, I'd like to think I'm just getting started.
Wow, that's a big deal, because a lot of times when people get in trouble with the law and they go to prison, everyone just gives up on them, right?
Right.
And then they get back in, and so if they have something to believe in, and they believe in themselves as well, right?
Exactly.
And actually getting taught by you, who's somebody who's very successful, they're like, I can do this.
It's kind of funny, a lot of times, because I'm on TV a lot and visible, I suppose, and so it's funny the reactions that people have to me. I just think I'm Ned, when they say, Mr. Siegfried, I'm looking around trying to find my dad, But people come to one of my classes, for instance, in prison, and one of the inmates that brought it, another inmate said, see, I told you he would actually be here. I can't believe that Ned Siegfried, this famous attorney, would come out to the prison and spend time. But it's just funny, I'm just Ned, I started the law firm, Siegfried and Jensen, but I feel like I'm a pretty regular guy. I just happen to do what I do professionally, has some visibility to it.
It's kind of a weird thing. I was doing a Facebook Live, and I was talking about you and some other guests earlier. And a lot of times people think business owners and entrepreneurs that do pretty well, or sometimes, and some people are selfish and self-centered and that. But the majority, at least, of people that I've met, and at least the ones that we've had on the show, if you look at their bios, probably more than half their time is giving, or more is giving back. And it's kind of cool to see that. I didn't even know that you did that at the prison. And then I was reading your bio on that. And it seems like it brings people more joy to give, or equally, or more maybe, than to get.
Oh, I think so. I always tease people, and particularly when Mitch is around, my partner, I tell people when they ask about what I do at the prison, I tell them I would do it 5 days a week if I could trust Mitch more. But anyway, so that's something.
Keep an eye on Mitch, huh?
Yeah, I can't let him have the steering wheel too much, So that's the inside joke, sort
That's
of.
funny.
But yeah, I certainly am one of those people. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy help, because even though some people will cynically refer to what we do as ambulance chasing, I look at it as we're a modern day Robin Hoods. We help people against the big tough insurance company who will just run roughshod over them. So we try to help the little guy, the victim, through this morass of legal and insurance issues that he or she has no idea how to navigate. We help them through that and get them a fair and reasonable result with the insurance company. Otherwise, it would be such a lopsided battle, such an unfair battle for a person.
Because they have all the resources, right?
Yeah, the knowledge, the resources, it's in their home court and then some.
Yeah.
This battle takes place. So we feel like we're really doing something good and performing a valuable service for people, and so I feel good about what we do, because like the prison, I may be helping someone in a little different way, maybe financially or whatnot, to recoup the losses that they've suffered as a result of an accident, as opposed to, say, more of a spiritual or mental or emotional type of giving at the prison. But I certainly believe it is much better to give than receive, for sure.
I'm kind of interested. I always ask this question, though, because you've had a lot. Now you have a lot of employees and tons of clients, right?
Yeah.
What's maybe a client story that kind of stands out a little bit, touched your heart a little bit, where you were able to help them, and and they got really injured and things went really bad, but you were to help ease the pain and help their life a little bit, What's one that stands out? You have so many.
There's so many. I wish you would have asked me beforehand, because I've just got this flood of things. I don't know. There was a young man, 2-3 years ago, that was lost his leg in a hunting accident, and the way it happened is that he was using a gun. Well, and I won't tell you what kind of gun, but it was a gun that had a history of misfires and the barrel exploding. Anyway, it exploded and severely damaged his knee so badly that he lost his leg just above the knee, and we were able to kind of work that through and get him a good result, and he's got we were able to help bring the resources to bear where he could get artificial leg, and now he's back doing his best to try to continue his passion of hunting, and he works and
he's back in action.
Things. So he's back in action, so to speak. Well put. So, but to a greater or lesser degree, that's what we try to do with people who've been injured through no fault of their own. We try to get them. I like that back into action. Get them off the IR, the injured reserve, and get them healed up mentally, emotionally, and physically, and get them as close to pre-accident condition as modern medicine will allow them to be.
That's pretty cool, because I was thinking about it. I've been in a couple car accidents in my life and different things. And typically you're not in a state of mind where you're just totally coherent and you can even speak for yourself correctly.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of nice to have someone looking out for
like
you.
They say, what is it? Only he who represents himself has a fool for a client.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I got to write that one.
Yeah.
I got to write that one down. He who represents himself
has a fool for a client. So, yeah, usually you're too close to the situation generally to try to advocate for yourself, and so it's just generally better, particularly in a legal arena or in a courtroom, certainly, to have someone who knows their way around, do the advocating for you.
So here's an interesting question. Obviously, over the years, you've been scaling. Like, it's been 30 years plus now?
Well, Siegfried and Jensen, I started with Mitch in 1990, but kind of had the genesis of my building that started when I got out of law school 7 years early in '83. I'd kind of narrowed my law practice down within the first couple of years of practicing by myself to just personal injury. Kind of had the basis of Siegfried and Jensen kind of underway, and then when Mitch and I broke away from these other 5 or 6 attorneys, then we were able to just kind of really ramp things up and really kind of ring the dinner bell, and then the business started pouring in.
So marketing wise, your bio talks about how you started aggressive marketing. So what are some of the first few things you did, and in this modern day, what's most effective, or a combination of things that's working?
All right, well, when I started, so to speak, this is right out of law school, and so no clients. Most of the other kids I went to law school with, say out of 150 kids that graduated with me, almost all of them were married. I wasn't married, but most of them probably because they're married, and a lot of them had, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. They kind of needed immediate income, right, to support their families. So all of the other classmates of mine went to work somewhere, as an employee, for whether it's for the state or for a law firm or whatever. But I wasn't married; I only had myself to take care of, so to speak, and so my nut was pretty small, right? So I just started practicing by myself with this group, including Mitch. I ran into them, so to speak, and just hung out my own shingle, as they say. My first advertising, back in the day, lawyers ran ads in the classified section of the newspaper. Yeah. I ran literally like a 3-4 line ad. It was like $50 a week, and just said, wills, just a few, 3 or 4 different things, criminal, bankruptcy, just a little garden variety of things, just anything that would bring in a buck or two. I think I did a will for every one of my aunts and uncles and relatives that I could think of. You know, they just probably felt sorry for this little snot-nosed kid right out of law school. And so I would, you know, $200 to do a will and blah, blah. I just toggled things together. Then I kind of realized, I don't know how much you want to tell.
Well, I'm just curious what made it go explosive, because, I mean, you guys,
Well, the advertising, really, you know, and there wasn't many people advertising for legal services in Utah at that time. But as I remembered, it was, you know, one of our still current, probably our primary competitor, Robert J. DeBry, was advertising at that time, but not many others. And so I think, as I look back on it, I was making pretty good money as a sole practitioner, doing just personal injury work, primarily auto accident cases. And so I think Mitch, quite frankly, saw that I was having a lot of success doing that, and he kind of wanted to you know, have a piece of it. And I said, and I needed more people to help me, more attorneys. And so what I had already put together and was doing, I thought was very scalable.
Oh, yeah.
So we just need more cases, and then we could hire more attorneys and get more staff and whatnot. So we started cranking up TV.
Yeah, tons of it, right? Like
TV
crazy.
and phone books. We still have the back of a lot of the phone books in town, and so we just started, you know, grabbing, you know, different advertising opportunities.
What's the big one today? Is there a combination? What's your maybe most powerful, you know, forms? Would you say it's digital or traditional, or?
Well, I think they all kind of blend together. I mean, it's kind of hard to really tell. It's kind of like a stew, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Are the potatoes more important than the corn?
Marketing stew.
Or the you know, the carrots. I can kind of, the carrots are important, or the onions in the stew. But I think the most important stuff, really, Dan, I think over the years has been TV. TV is where people will kind of get to know you. You're animated and whatnot, as opposed to say a billboard where you're just a picture of you. And we don't have our pictures on billboards anymore because we're getting old and wrinkly and gray hair and bald. But
Use an Instagram filter to make your hair.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Put some sunglasses on.
That's right. Get some vanity shots or something. Yeah, I think TV's been the real staple, which we started in 1990 when we first formed Siegfried and Jensen. Phone books, as you mentioned before, were big, but as digital, came to the forefront and the internet, then of course. Phone books have become kind of a dinosaur, so to speak.
Yeah.
But radio. We've advertised quite heavily with in sports.
Yes. People are watching that, right?
Yeah.
So
that's one thing that people don't.
you're talking radio sports?
TV.
TV sports.
Yeah.
Jazz games and that.
Yeah, I mean, we're the exclusive legal sponsor of the Utah Jazz, so we've got a long relationship with them and do a lot with them, both in their
they're good people down there. They're nice people.
In arena as well as during the games and blah blah blah. Yeah, the Jazz are great people. The Miller family and
nice
everyone that I've got to know connected with that organization are just top of the line people. But sporting events are really the one thing that people don't DVR and skip over the commercials. You want to watch sporting events live. And so that's one thing you feel pretty confident that for the most part people are going to see your spots when they run. So we've done a lot with the Jazz and with BYU and with University of Utah and Real and the Bees and pretty much all the sports teams.
That's smart. Maybe I got engaged. I used to do a lot of that for a while. Then we shifted, then the big digital thing came, and we're like, just kind of flooded there. Now we're kind of moving stuff back around because digital's very heavy now. Like everyone's, and there's a lot of noise,
Right.
So The stew, the marketing stew.
Yeah, so I think the thing, Dan, that's worked for us is consistency. I mean, we are always on TV. We got, a lot of billboard coverage throughout the state. We've had different legal competitors emerge, and they just throw a bunch of money at it, but just for a few months, and then they burn out. They don't have any staying power.
Yes.
They might as well just take that money and go out to the state line and put it all in black or red or something. But, that's the one thing that I think has paid dividends for us is, as you said before, we're everywhere and we're always there. For us, it's top of mind awareness, as it is for a lot of people, whether you're R.C. Willey or whatnot. Eventually people are going to need furniture, right? And the odds are that with our crazy society and the way, crazy drivers, and I always hear that Utah has the worst drivers. I almost agree with them. Just driving around, just the crazy.
You're going to be really busy at the office after today, right? We had a blizzard today, guys, like snow, and I kept seeing people, literally a dozen people from 33rd South and Wasatch Boulevard. So it was a 45-minute drive here. And I was seeing people, I'm like, Ned's going to be talking to them.
So people say to me, well, today was Siegfried and Jensen weather. Anyway.
Sponsor of the weather.
That's right.
What you say about consistency is the key. And I share my story with PC Laptops, 27 years in business. And they were like, what's your marketing secret? And I call it suppressive fire. Constantly pulling the trigger on the advertising.
Yeah.
Advertising. So people go, Dan, is it all YouTube or Facebook or Instagram? I'm like, I still spend large amounts of marketing budget on TV, on radio, and we target those things and continue to do those. And I don't ever do like 1 month or 3 months. I do annual contracts, and most of them go for decades.
Yeah.
Right? You just keep going.
Yeah, we're always on there, and I know with the advent of the internet and digital marketing, even a small business or a one-man attorney office, so to speak, and they can either participate in pay-per-click or SEO much cheaper than they could produce ads and be on TV and pay the budgets that go along with that. But my thought is that if you Google personal injury attorney Utah, and you get maybe page after page after page of listings. First of all, you based on your SEO and let alone PPC, we're going to be at the top of the listing. But my feeling is people will click on a listing if they recognize the business. And so if they recognize Siegfried and Jensen instead of Jones and Smith or Miller and Taylor or whatnot, we got a lot better chance because of our familiarity with the consumer over the last 30 years that that they're going to click on us, and particularly if we're positioned at the very top of the search.
I can confirm that. I went and walked through the building and talked to most of our employees here are millennials, right, that are building computers and stuff. And I asked these kids, they're like, Dan, who's coming to the podcast today? And I'm like, Ned Siegfried. And they're like, oh, the attorney dude. And I'm like, yeah. And literally, I think I talked to like 10 different employees today, and probably 9 of them. One of them was a who? But that's pretty good. 90% of people that are that millennial age.
Yeah, particularly millennials, because they consume different than us older guys.
It's pretty cool though to see that, and probably because a lot of you are digital, and maybe what's strange about this, like for PC Laptops, our company that's local in Utah. A lot of times people are like, my grandpa bought from you, and my dad.
Yeah.
And now, they gave me one for college, and I'm graduated now, so I give it to my kids, hand me down, and our business now buys from you because we have our business. And that keeps going, and that's the same kind of thing is like, oh yeah, Uncle Dave was in an accident, and Siegfried and Jensen took care of him. So you can trust those guys. They'll get you the money you need to take care of medical bills or whatever is going on. Yeah. And so that reputation kind of, because it's a very personal thing when people get hurt.
Yeah.
And people talk about their experience, like.
Right, and you bring up another great point too, that are, you want to have satisfied customers, and so the more people you serve and represent, each person that you put out into the marketplace, so to speak, either both while you're representing them and certainly after your representation is over, each one of those people become a reference point for your law firm, so to speak. Most people will share with their friends and people they run into the experience they had with any business, let alone a lawyer. And I firmly believe that bad news travels much, much, much faster than good news. So I spend time monthly. We have a dedicated meeting the first Tuesday of every month, which was yesterday, where I speak to all the employees, and 90% of what I speak about when we get together is customer service. We want to, as much as we're able to, provide excellent customer service, and every one of our clients that go out there, has a circle of friends. They have family. They most of them work. They have neighbors. They have people at their clubs, at their churches, at whatever, and so my feeling is, we've represented 40,000 people over the years in primarily auto accidents, and if each one of those people go away being a Siegfried and Jensen disciple, so to speak, and saying good things about us, then not only just repeat business, and some people do get in 2 or 3 or 4 accidents over a period of years, so we do have repeat business, right? But it's nice when a big portion of your business also comes in because you help my uncle, you help my brother, you help my neighbor, and they said good things about you. So
that's cool.
I think referral business, separate apart from the traditional mediums of TV, radio, billboards, is extremely important to us. And the good news is you don't have to pay for that, word of mouth, business from happy clients.
That's pretty cool.
And so I'd like more of our business to come from that. Then I wouldn't have to feel like I'm supporting the TV stations and the phone books and the sports teams.
It's kind of funny how our brains or businesses are aligned a little bit on that, because we do a survey. We send out a survey monkey. It's like an email, right, to everyone, and we ask them some simple questions. Was your experience amazing? How'd you hear about it? That kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And I think within the last survey, 72% of our customers were referral. 72%. And it was an interesting shift because I think about 5 years ago, it was 50%. But our advertising marketing budget has gone up and we're doing more revenue. But like you said, and that's been the same mantra we've been singing too, is, do whatever it takes to make sure people, we say 100%, 110% happy.
Right.
Make sure they're just like over the top. Whatever it takes,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you have to do. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
So it's been 30-something years now, plus years, doing law now more?
Yeah, I got out in 83, so that's what, 30...
It's been a lot of years.
36 years, I guess.
So maybe you could share with me the biggest fear moment of your business career that you're like, oh man, and maybe, how'd you get through that?
Biggest fear
Something
moment.
scary ever happened to you? Has it always been roses, or did you have a...
Well, it's been... roses would certainly be an overstatement. I guess just I've always tried to be, really proactive and head off any perceived potential problems ahead of time. I firmly believe in the adage that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yep.
So
that's a good one.
I don't remember really, Dan, any real horrible droughts or rough spots. I think the challenge for Mitch and me is just the just bringing it, so to speak, the commitment, every day, every week, and because as a small business, and we have about 80 employees, about 20 attorneys, but we have a pretty good overhead between payroll and a pretty big advertising budget, and wouldn't take long if we lose our focus to all of a sudden be behind the eight ball financially. Obviously whether on a business level or on a personal household level, you want to make sure you have more money coming in than going out. And when you have built-in, expenses as a business owner, fairly significant payroll, fairly significant advertising budget, the challenge for me, I think, is to try to keep the entire staff, motivated, focused, and doing their jobs, because we need contribution from everybody. Just like for the Jazz to win the ball game, they kind of don't just need 2 or 3 players to show up. They kind of need everybody to play well and play hard and be committed. So that's kind of my role, is to kind of
that's the question.
Coach, keep everybody.
So the advice you can give, because a lot of the people that are watching the podcast are entrepreneurs, or they're thinking about starting their own business. So what are a few things that you would give them as advice that they must do to be successful?
Like I said, I think just consistency. We talked about consistency in marketing, consistency of having your message out there, top of mind awareness. So the consistency daily in the effort that you put in the emotion and dedication you bring to whatever you do, whether you're in a service-oriented business like the law, or whether you're in more of a manufacturing, produce products like top of the line laptops and PCs. I think those people that are successful are those who pay the price. Who, I certainly wasn't the smartest kid in my law school class. I'm probably by far and away not the smartest kid in my firm. I'm the boss, I'm the owner, but I'm dedicated, I'm consistent. I bring it every day. I don't sleep in. I get up early. I work out several times a week. I go down to prison. I do things to, kind of keep a lot of gas in my tank, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yes.
And then I bring that positive energy and excitement to the workplace, and I try to, have people that work for me also have a good energy and good vibes. I don't want any bad apples.
You're super hungry though too. I mean, it's kind of interesting. You run this all these years, and you're super hungry, and that's maybe, I think, the common trait. Maybe it's this consistent hunger.
Yeah, and
to make it better. And
yeah, I'm full of adages. People say, Ned, you got to do a coffee table book, all your sayings and all your quotes. But I always remember my grandparents and parents always tell me, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing well. I just detest in myself, and I don't really do this, it's not my nature, but I detest when I see people or employees just going through the motions and kind of putting in just barely enough of an effort not to get fired. Well, I don't want those type of people working for me. I don't want those type of people around me that are just willing to just accept just a minimal standard. I whatever I'm going to do, I want, whether it's play golf or go down to the prison or lead the troops into battle as Siegfried and Jensen. I want to do it with some passion and commitment and do well. My motivation, Dan, isn't to make a lot of money. I mean, I truly believe that money is really just opportunity. And if you're trying to work hard just to make a bunch of money so you can buy a second or third home or buy an island in the Pacific. People, I think, sense that. They sense that you're just a mercenary and that you don't really care about them, and it's all about you and getting, more money for yourself, and they're just a means to that end. But I think when people really know that you're sincere and genuine and you care about them, and then I think you help ensure your success. It's kind of that karma thing. If you're genuinely concerned about the other person, then that person tends to reciprocate that care and kindness back to you. And people want to work with somebody that is genuine and
it's so cool. This is so cool
them.
to hear. This is just wonderful to hear because, all these years, I didn't get to know you that well. Saw your ads. We'd see each other at charity events and things.
Yeah.
But to see where your mentality is on the giving and contributing and helping people, it's really an interesting perspective because I think there's a little bit of stereotype with attorneys, especially accident attorneys, that they're just kind of looking out for themselves. But this is pretty cool to actually see who you are and why you do it.
Yeah, because that really is that. I like helping people. I don't care if I make a nickel more than I've made. I just want to maintain my lifestyle. I live in the same home that I built about the time we started the law firm. I've been in the same home since 1991. I like my neighbors. I could afford a bigger house higher up on the mountain. Could have for a long time, but I have no desire to move. I just want to, things I've learned early on, things don't make a person happy. Out of the prison, some of the men, I just love this imagery. They said, when we talk about materialism and how, trying to, keep up with the Joneses, that never brings happiness. If having things or having fame and fortune made people happy, then the people in Hollywood would be the happiest people in the world, but they seem to be amongst the most sad.
That's
right?
true, huh?
So the imagery I want you to capture, Dan, is the idea that you can't take anything with you, right? You can't take any physical possessions with you. So why in the world do people spend their whole lives trying to get things and amass, material things? The imagery is you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul.
That's a good one. You got to put that in your book.
I just love that. Maybe put that on the cover of the book. But yeah, and that's so true. Why do we spend our whole lives, so many people, focused on material things? I really think you focus on relationships, you focus on things other than material things, and that's what brings happiness.
This is so cool. It's just amazing. That's a great one. And because this seems to be a very connecting theme with a lot of our guests of wanting to give back and help, because you can't take all this junk with you, right? It's what you do to help people, right?
That's right.
This is amazing. Anything on your bucket list? Anything you want to accomplish, achieve in your lifetime that's still, there? Any, big, huge?
Not really. If I died tomorrow, I'd feel like I've had a wonderful life, and I just want to keep helping people. That's what brings me happiness.
That's awesome.
I just want to help more people. And Siegfried and Jensen, the law firm that Mitch and I have built, it just gives me a platform to do that, and I'm grateful for that.
This is awesome. I'm going to summarize a few things for everybody out there. So let me clarify me if I get the quotes wrong. So you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul.
A hearse.
A hearse. That's like one of those funeral wagons.
Yeah,
you never see them pulling a U-Haul.
Hearse, I think is how it's spelled.
If something is worth doing, it's worth doing well.
Yeah.
Like your grandparents told you, right?
Yeah.
Be consistent. You have to be consistent. And the best kind of customers are referral customers.
I think so.
Wow,
They're the cheapest, for sure.
You should always...
In terms of, you don't have to buy that lead through TV or internet.
Bargain leads.
Yeah.
And for business owners, a monthly customer service meeting with your whole crew, everybody. is critical.
Well, each business can determine how often they want to.
I like
to
the
meet
monthly
with.
idea.
But yeah, first Tuesday of every month for as long as I can remember, until way back in the early '90s. I've just had everybody in the office, come together, and we just kind of talk about. It's kind of like Trump last night had a State of the Union, right? We just kind of do a state of the Siegfried and Jensen, but not so much, talk about, all of our great accomplishments. It was more just, I want to keep the troops kind of mentally and emotionally, dialed in and along kind of the lines we talked about. And the main thing we talk about every single meeting is how can we better serve our customers? How can we give them, the best possible experience in with going through something that's not necessarily fun for them. They've just been injured. Some people have lost, appendages, like I talked about, the one young man, or they've lost a family member. How can we take them through a rather dark period and be not just someone that helps them file an insurance claim or go to court or maybe even go all the way to a trial, but you have to kind of be a bit of a psychologist with them too, and a friend.
You teach your people how to do that psychology.
Yeah,
psychology to help people through it.
Yeah, I think I don't want people. Sometimes we get a complaint from a not so happy client. I mean, you have thousands of clients over the years. There's going to be some, no matter what you do, they're going to be a little bit less than satisfied for whatever reason. But I try to tell my people to listen carefully and to and ask them, is there anything else I can help you with, or is there any part of what we're doing that you don't, you'd like to understand better, that I can help you appreciate why we're doing this or not doing that. So take the few extra minutes with your clients and then whatever business you're in, and just really listen to them. Don't just tell them what you want to tell them. Find out what they want to know, find out what their itch is, and then scratch it for them, so to speak.
It's smart. I like that. Just find the pains or the itch and the irritations and scratch it.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can everybody find you? Where can they find out more about? What's your website? Is that the best place?
Well, our website is SIEGFRIEDandJensen.com.
Doesn't get easier than that.
Yeah, that's right. Our phone number, 801, you like this, 222-2222.
That's the greatest phone number in the world.
Sounds like a train coming around the mountain or something, but 222-2222.
801 and then just hit twos like crazy.
Yeah, just hit 7 twos after the 801 prefix. But yeah, we're, like we said before, we're pretty much everywhere, and there's other, we have plenty of competitors, and some are better than others. We'd like to think that we are the best, but
I think you guys are awesome.
Everyone thinks they are. Well,
and getting to know you better, even more awesome.
We're the funnest, and we will love you the most.
You guys are
very
great.
best.
So, wow, Ned, I thank you for taking your time. I know your schedule's crazy, and you're an attorney, so you bill by the hour, too.
No, everything's on contingent.
Oh, contingent.
Yeah, if we don't get results, we don't get paid.
That's actually a good way, results-oriented.
That's right, yeah.
That's phenomenal.
True practice of law, yeah. We
That's
don't
a good
just
way.
bill, people could just be billing machines.
Outcome.
Yeah, we get results.
Help your customers.
Outcome, yeah, no good results, no money.
Wow. I really thank you for coming on today.
Dan, it's been a pleasure.
And all you guys and girls watching out there, this podcast, again, guys like Ned coming on and sharing their story and their entrepreneurial tips on how you can start your business, or if you have a business, how to make it better. These are universal pieces of wisdom. We're not trying to sell you anything on the podcast, as you know. There's no commercials. There's no sponsors. There's no program to buy. It's there. We have people, great guests like Ned coming on to share to you and give to you. So what can you do to repay Ned for his time and other guests that we have? And myself, execute. Like if Ned's giving you this advice, do it. Execute it. Incorporate it into your business. And when you gain more abundance, give back more. Help others. And if you could, share this podcast with your friends and family. And if you like it, rate it good. That'll bring it up the list and pay it forward that way. That's how you can repay our guests for their time and also help your family as well and your friends. So Dan's Millionaire Code, you can find us. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, the Apple iTunes Store. You can find me everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, and thank you for joining. We've got some excellent guests coming up next week as well. And again, Ned, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
You're the best. Appreciate you.
Great. You're a good man.
Take care, guys.
See ya.